My name's Don.
And I'm Peter.
And we are two plebs talking about... California.
This week in the DPRC.
Oh boy, is it too.
You know...
Because, we're retarded.
Yes.
I mean, so, California in its infinite wisdom, and to be fair, this is the Ninth Circuit, if I remember correctly, but they're a big extension of California at this point. They just are. They have decided that a homeless man has the right to sue the state for euthanizing his pigeons.
Yes.
Now, okay, look, I'm usually pretty big on property rights. And I get it. Fine, they're your pets. You should be able to keep them. This state hasn't respected property rights since the 50s, and now we're going to make a property rights argument for the homeless?
Yes. All he had was those damn pigeons. He doesn't even have a home.
Well, I guess there's that.
They just went and snuffed out his only source of joy in the world.
So, I guess we should discuss these pigeons for a moment.
Yes, we should.
So, the state confiscated them under, some county somewhere, confiscated them under the premise of all of the animal cruelty laws because, well, one of them had a baseball-sized tumor on its stomach. One of them had a dried-out eye. All of them had some sort of deformity, right?
Something.
Some majority of their beaks were overgrown. I mean, clearly not treated well. And all of the cages that he had them in were soaking wet
Dirty.
And covered in feces.
But had plenty of food and water. And they were covered, he was homeless. They were covered with blankets to help keep them from being directly exposed to the sun.
Sure.
So there are some pluses there to the description.
Well, first of all, do we know these were sky rats, right? I mean, they're pigeons.
They're pigeons. Things that stay out in the sun all day long anyway.
Right. I mean, they're not accidentally called sky rats. They're rats, but they fly.
Right.
So, look, okay, we're going to have animal cruelty laws because we find animals important and pets and what have you.
Right. And then they talk to the guy. He's like, no. These are all effectively rescues. They are, in fact, at the very least, in the same condition in which I found them in, if not improved.
Well, so...
I'm caring for sick animals.
This is your word against mine, and, well, your word against nothing, and that's not how the state works, right?
Right.
There have been thousands of stories over time about people who have dogs that get hit by cars or something, and animal control shows up and goes, yoink!
Right.
So, this isn't new. So, preferably, right, in some realistic world, the government would stay out of this. Well, either we agree that pets are property and the government stays out of this, or we don't, and then the government gets to do this. And the problem is, in California, in every other circumstance, the answer here is, you don't get to do this. You don't get to have pets like this.
No.
Period.
Not unless you're a registered shelter.
Right.
Or rescue.
Exactly.
With, certified staff.
Right.
There's requirements that need to be met.
Exactly. And yet, now, to be fair, the reason they have permitted him to sue is because the county that picked these things up euthanized all of them, which is to say, killed them.
Yes, they killed them all, even the healthy ones. There were a number that were in perfect health.
No, there weren't. There's no evidence of that. And this is part of my problem with this, is they went, well, they might have something wrong with them.
Yeah, they might have something wrong with them, meaning they didn't do a good enough check on them. They're like, well, they might have something, so...
Well, look, here's the deal. This is right along with any other animal abuse there is, right? Like, so if animal control walks into your house and your entire floor is covered in dog shit, they don't go, well, I'm sure everything's fine.
Right.
So,
But also on the other hand, they shouldn't go like, well, there's a good chance that it has a disease, so we're going to kill it off anyway.
Well, therein is the problem. When you put together a whole bunch of things with diseases into a small area, if those diseases are communicable...
It's likely, yes, but not guaranteed.
Now, what we're asking here is, whatever county this was, which I seem to have summarily forgotten...
So did I.
Said is to have picked up a bunch of rats from the sky,
yes,
tested all of their health, and gone, well, these 4 are fine, right?
Right.
And then euthanized the rest of them, which, by the way, still would have caused this lawsuit.
Yes. No, I think the only reason that he really has grounds for the lawsuit is that they euthanized them before he had the chance to put in his appeal.
Now, that would be good grounds. At 10 days, as opposed to 20, was when this euthanization occurred. And it's supposed to be up to 20 days.
Yeah, he has up to 20 days to, basically refute what they'd done and try to reclaim his birds. And they're like...
Well,
no.
Here's the problem. And this is why California is so ridiculous. Doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Not one bit. So, they said exactly what the government always says. We have an interest in protecting the health and safety of society. No more. Right? Now, this is how the government does every fucking thing.
Mm-hmm.
They take your dog, they take your kid, they take your car, whatever it is. Right? Oh, well, health, safety, society is very important. Well, California, you've been going on way too long down this road for this suit to possibly succeed simply because that was the reasoning. And by the way, this is the real problem here above everything else, because if this applies to a homeless guy with his pet pigeons, then you're going to have 8 billion lawsuits pop up all over this state.
Yep.
About anything else that's ever been confiscated under this premise.
Yep.
And the reality, while I would like to see that be the outcome, is that is not going to be the outcome, right? But if what we say is this homeless guy has this right, but nobody else does, we are, again, creating a super class of citizen.
Yes.
Because, look, those kinds of cases and their various challenges have failed continuously throughout the years, right? In fact, you don't even need to be in California to get that answer, right? The Fourth Circuit just said, well, we're going to promote the public welfare, health and safety reasons, things, assault weapons.
Right.
But this? Come on now.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, the Ninth can say he has the right to appeal this all he wants, and that probably means the Ninth will say, oh yeah, it's fine if you do this, and I can't wait. Because every single other ruling they have ever made along these lines will get challenged immediately with this as case law.
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, you can sue.
But hey, why would it matter if they were consistent about anything?
Right. Well, it's California. We don't have to be consistent with the things we care about.
Well, that's true, right? That's our way of doing things here, right? And what is amazing to me is that the California Superior Courts went, no, you can't sue over for this. And then they got to the Ninth, who went, yeah, you could totally sue over that. Despite that both of them have been in agreement in the past.
Right.
So, forgive me for speculating on what it is the Ninth is thinking, because I don't actually know. But here it is again. Oh, it's a homeless person.
Yep.
And every time that's the answer. It's, oh, I feel really bad for them. And it's exactly that speech you gave right at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the only place he found joy in this world. Therefore, the only time ever, we will enforce some sort of property right here for pigeons. Like,
right.
Come on.
You know what's going to happen?
It is. And yet, what will happen because of it? Right?
Back to whole lots of other lawsuits saying, no. You have established precedent now, and this is the new precedent, which means this shit gets overturned.
Right.
Yeah, they're asking for a flood of appeals.
Exactly. However, because of the way the court system works, they can just deny those appeals.
Yep.
And then we will really have created a system where the homeless pets have better protection than your kids, your pets, I don't know, your car.
Right.
Everything. Because homeless.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Well, they have nothing. We have to give them something.
Yeah. Sure. Why not?
I mean, the government's failing at giving them homes. Let's let them keep their pets.
Ah, is that what it is? Well, in promotion of more people falling under this ruling in the future.
Yeah.
Or at least coming as close as they possibly can.
Right.
We, back to those California Superior Courts, have decided that one particular company was sued for being doing single jobs, commission, right?
Commission work, yeah.
And using contractors to do it, as opposed to hiring them as full-time employees. Okay. Well, the court came down and went, yes, you have to pay these people.
Yep.
As minimum wage, full-time, or part-time employees.
Right.
You don't get to do this piecemeal work shit anymore.
Right.
Well, what does that actually mean, right? Because this wasn't, I don't know, a mediated dispute between them and their employees. This is now case law.
Yep.
Well, that means every single member of one of these services, which include Uber, Lyft, Grubhub, DoorDash, any of these little things that people do for whatever amount of money they do it for, right? So,
right.
I don't know if there's a lot of people living off Uber.
Well, a lot of people who make some extra money in their spare time.
That is the majority, so I'm told.
Right.
By everyone.
Yeah.
However, regardless.
Set your own hours.
Right. Which, by the way, you will no longer be able to do.
Nope.
So, now you have to treat them as regular employees. And pay them California's ridiculous minimum wage. Which is, I think, right now still $10.50, but I'm not sure.
But also, because I'm pretty sure there's a few people who do try to make that their full-time job, or at least put in enough hours to make it qualify as full-time.
Sure.
And they definitely have the number of employees at that point in time where they'd have to start getting health benefits.
Well, so that's already a law in California, right?
That's what I'm saying.
So the moment they cross 26 hours, I think, in this state, they're now required to be paid or to have health care.
Right.
So,
and if the company in question has enough employees, which I think is as soon as you hit 50.
Yeah. Well, thus I don't remember if California's is 50, but the Affordable Care Act is 50. So regardless, it's true then. But no less, what are we saying here, right? Now Uber needs to pay unemployment. Payroll taxes. Workman's comp. Health insurance. Almost always.
Well, and since they're employees working on company dime and they're not contractors, and that means the company's not responsible for even their vehicles' increased insurance.
Can be. Right? So they're going to need coverage for that of some variety.
Right.
They're equally speaking going to have an HR department.
Yep.
So they talked to somebody at MIT, supposedly, who said, yeah, this is going to increase their cost of business by 25 to 40%. And when I read that, I just laughed, right?
Really?
Because it's going to increase their cost of business by about 100%. Easily.
Right.
Because this is how you get these things done. This is how you get away from government regulation to permit you to provide fairly low-cost services. And the people who provide these services within government regulation have been nearly run out of business by Uber. Because Uber said, well, we don't have to do that shit.
Right.
Because this is how it works. Well, guess what? If you think it's a good idea to take an Uber to go out for a night drinking, be prepared to spend $150.
Yeah. Ubers are going to start costing as much as taxis.
Yeah. Probably more.
Yeah. Because the whole reason Uber was successful and took off like it did is because it was an alternative to a taxi.
Yeah.
Basically, provided the exact same service at a much lower cost.
Yeah.
And apparently, they're like, no, we can't have that. We're losing tax revenue.
Sure.
I'm guessing. I don't even know the reason why.
So it's not tax revenue, right? So this original lawsuit was a employees' rights kind of thing, right? So, this is I work for them 12 hours a day, and they don't. If I get injured on the job, they don't pay workman's comp.
Right.
Is, if I recall correctly, actually the premise of the lawsuit, to which the company in question went, well, no, because you make your own hours, do your own thing. You come by, you do whatever for us, and then for each whatever you do, we pay X amount, right?
Right.
Well, now there must be minimum wage, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, this in and of itself will kill Uber's business practice, right?
Right.
Because I sign into Uber app,
saying I am now available for work.
Yep.
That means I am now on the clock.
Yeah.
Making my minimum wage, whether I'm actually ferrying people or not.
You got it.
Whereas in the previous plan, it's like, I only get paid when I drive people.
Uh-huh. And so, based on another lawsuit that happened in this state a while back with Labor Ready, where Labor Ready almost closed the doors because they got sued for telling people, well, look, you show up here, you ask for a job. If there is one, we assign it to you. If there's not, then we don't. Right. And they said, well, Labor Ready needs to pay minimum wage for that time. And they went, they got the money for that shit. What?
Right.
So
we're not going to people standing around do nothing.
Right. And yet, these are the kind of lawsuits that happen in this state, right? And so this is going to be acceptable for all of these little services.
Well, I mean, the same thing should go for every temp agency then.
Sure.
While I'm sitting for the temp agency to find me a job, I guess I should still be making minimum 40 hours.
Yeah, why not?
Minimum wage 40 hours off of them.
Sure.
You destroy their profitability at that point in time.
Why would that matter? This is the Democratic People's Republic of California.
Right. Like,
profit is the enemy.
We don't care about killing businesses around here.
No, not at all.
We want to make sure our people are taken care of, and you have no money.
Yeah, exactly. And
at least that seems to be the way things go.
Here is what is most likely to happen if this so much as springs up for one more company, right? Like, let Lyft get sued for this.
Mm-hmm.
Uber will shut the doors.
Yep.
DoorDash will shut the doors.
Yep.
Grubhub will shut the doors. Every single one of these will go, never mind, California. Because the only other option is that if you want an Uber, it's $150. If you want a Grubhub to deliver a sandwich to you, that delivery is going to cost $50.
Yeah. It will disappear.
Right. Now, to be fair, they'll probably leave the service available and go, well, now I have to pay you minimum wage, but to do that, right, all of a sudden there will be employment contracts set up. And then right after that will be, if you don't deliver, 10 cans of beer an hour or whatever, then you're fired.
Right.
On the other hand, every delivery will now be, instead of $5 or $10 or whatever the hell it is, will be, $50, $100, because they're going to need to cover the cost, which is going to put those services out of business in the long run.
Yep.
Because no one's paying for that, right?
No, if I have to pay like $10 for someone to deliver something to me, like, fuck that, I can take the drive myself.
And that's the thing, right? Because at the low cost, people are willing to splurge for it. At a much higher cost, people are going to go, fuck all that. For $100, that's like a day's pay for half the state.
Right.
So, how about, as opposed to that, I just go get it myself. And so, they'll kill the business. They won't care. They'll go, we don't understand why they don't want to do work here anymore. And who is actually going to get screwed? All those people who now have workers' rights.
Yep. Because they will lose their jobs.
Yeah. Everyone else is inconvenienced. But the people who got rights, they're screwed.
Right.
Good job, California.
Yeah. I mean, back to they seem to want to kill any business whatsoever.
It is the thing in this state, and
They
I am
keep
regularly
crying
told
for
that.
money.
Right.
For like people need to pay more taxes. We need more business to come in so they can pay taxes. And then business go like, then why are you fucking us?
And that's the end of our show for the day.
That's right. It's taco time.
However, before we go, we'd appreciate it if you shared us around.
You can find us on YouTube,
BitChute,
Facebook,
Twitter,
Patreon,
and Maker Support.
Thanks for stopping by.